Welcome back to Women in Leadership. My name is Reagan Jackson, and I am the Program Director for Young Women Empowered. For those of you not familiar with we are a fantastic 501c3 nonprofit based in Beacon Hill in Seattle, Washington, and our mission is to cultivate the power of diverse young women to be creative leaders and courageous change makers. And so this series is an exploration of leadership, and particularly the leadership of women in our community who have risen to the challenge of facing COVID-19 with some innovative and interesting solutions. So here with me today, I have Queen Nyema Clark.
Oh, thanks.
She is a farm boss at Nurturing Roots on Beacon Avenue South. A native to South Seattle, Nyema's entrepreneurial chops shine in her efforts as a beginning urban farmer. And she is also the proprietor of Avenue South, a line of natural health and beauty products. Nyema is deeply dedicated to wellness and to healing our community. Thanks so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. You made it sound so amazing. I love that.
No, I mean, I don't have to do anything. You're amazing. You're doing amazing work.
Thank you. Right
What's
on.
it like at the farm right now?
Whew, things at the farm are exciting. Also a little scary. So we're taking on a lot more of a challenge this year than we have, of course, for everyone, I'm sure. But for us, it's been how can we keep folks involved, but also keep them safe? So we're working on how we can practice the social distancing while still, staying involved, staying hands-on with individuals. So this year we launched our take home, our grow at home boxes. So it'll just help folks get all the resources and all the tools that they need so that they can, produce amazing vegetables at home, but then still watch us, online or with content we can publish.
That sounds fantastic. What's in a box?
Oh my goodness. So I wish I had one and I could just show you. So in the box, everyone will get starts. So you'll get little baby plants, you'll get seeds, and then you'll get cards. Sorry, pull them over. So you'll get, everyone will get, I wonder if you can see that, cards about what type of veggie you got. And then you'll get a long list of all the different seeds that are available in your packet. So each packet will get an assortment of seeds and an assortment of starts. And then it'll be up to you to keep them alive throughout the season. But we'll add some literature so that you can find our links and our helpful content videos that we'll be posting all throughout the season. So I'm hoping that more folks, will sign on. So far, we have about 160 boxes that we're going to be producing, which I'm sure there'll be more after that. So I'm looking forward to, making boxes for not only apartments and garden spaces, but for folks who don't even have a window or, don't have a balcony, but folks that just have a little light in the corner who want to maybe grow something. So we're hoping that we can access all the different growing spaces and, provide that resource for folks that are stuck at home.
I love that. Well, tell us a bit about why is it so important that folks know how to grow food?
Yes, I believe it is important because it's something we all have to do. We can't move about this world without eating. So to me, seeing how, our disparities were obvious during our snowmageddon and how folks weren't getting food across the mountain, so it was gone. Or right now, there's no toilet paper, there's no, sanitizer. What are you going to do? So a lot of people are even taking it upon themselves to make their own cleaning materials, which is so dope. But I think even before that, we still got to eat. Before we wash our hands, we have to nourish our bodies. So I believe that growing food in general is like just standing up for your rights as an individual, as a human, and then also just being able to benefit someone else. So not only are you able to produce more plants, so by me planting this one piece of corn, I've got, more ears and more seeds for more years to come, but also the knowledge that folks, take the time to develop the impact of being able to take just food sovereignty in general. I'm sorry, I'll go on. But for me, it's like, if you can grow your own food, just think of what you could do for yourself. If you could sew your own clothes, think about what you could do for yourself. So I just think about that piece of just being able to lock on to and harness your own strength as an individual, and food sovereignty is one of those that are like, you gotta know this.
Definitely, and why we were on board as well. So we actually have been doing some work out at Mara Farms in South Park,
Dope.
Our program manager, Nelly Jasuja, is holding it down.
Love it. Love Nelly. No way.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me a bit about like how has COVID-19 impacted you personally and professionally?
Yes. Personally, I've often spoken about moments like this where the world unfortunately isn't going to be able to provide what everyone depends on. And I guess by world, I mean government. A lot of times as consumers, you just are depending on someone else. And that's just the way it is. And you don't have to be any different. So personally, I have found that, I guess, realizing this prior to COVID, I was already in this mode of self-sufficiency and finding ways to rely on our community. So I think this has almost amplified that piece of me. And it's also kind of shed light in a place where, okay, this is actually real. Like, you're talking about food sovereignty, like no food could exist. But actually, if they're shutting down plants and they're shutting down opportunities for people to pick the produce, there will be no produce. So I think it's kind of even awoken a part of me that was like almost dormant. There was a piece of me that was kind of comfortable in the space that I was and providing, you know, the opportunities that I did. And like we were talking, when we met, you came to the farm and you got some produce and you took it home, but there was no platform. And I think for me, it's just reorganized that idea that no, I have to go along with this journey for some folks. And then also being able to provide that resource. So there's no excuse. Hey, you got the time, you got the stuff, and you got the instructions. What else? Now you can do it. So I think being able to empower more people, it's empowering me. And then seeing that folks have the opportunity. I think a lot of people could not just sit home and learn or take time with themselves or develop a really strong connection with family members because we're having to be stuck at home. So I think that's also been a place where I've found where I can sit with my grandma and actually discuss things and just talking to her about life. I've heard more stories about her life. You know, I've heard more, just more stories about folks in general. It's like the time that my friends have had to just sit and talk, and it's not, I have to run and do this, or, you know, so those moments, I guess there's a lot of things that have triggered in my mind, but definitely that piece of connecting the land, and then also, you know, the urgency that I needed to kind of lift up the work that I was doing. But I feel the urgency a lot more.
Oh, definitely. It is urgent
Yes.
as we're wondering about our supply chain. Yeah, and
Right.
full disclosure, you know, my plants died because you know, I'm still new to this. But
Okay.
I definitely want to try again because I do think that it's important. And it's been interesting. Like, my dad grew up in the South, and so he was talking about his own upbringing and his grandmother and his grandfather having a farm, and them like having being really connected to their food. And he had, even when he lived in the projects, he had like a little garden as well.
Yes.
And you
I
know,
love
but I
it.
just feel like, you know, as a city kid, I didn't really grow up that way.
Right.
So it's great to have this opportunity to kind of dive in and to learn.
Yes, definitely.
But
I
tell me.
love it. It's okay. I have to say that. Things
Okay.
die. You know, that is something that humans, we all do it. So the idea that you attempted to bring this life, that is what it takes. I want to encourage everyone, if you do get a box, if you don't, if you ever have a plant, if you're looking at it, one of the best things which I added to our box this year is eye contact. Like,
Mm.
there's ways that you can tell that your friends are not okay, you know, and a lot of times you have to look at them to tell. You can't just turn around and just know that Reagan's okay. I actually have to take a look. So I think that's one of those biggest things, just staying present. And sometimes it's like the time didn't allow for that. So now it's like, I look forward to seeing your journey this year.
Oh, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Hmm.
So, do you self-identify as a leader?
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, there it is. I love it. It's
Does it
why
usually
I
take
asked
that
this
long?
question though. I'm asking a real question, and I'm excited that you took that moment to pause
Right.
because I know you're going to give me a real answer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what I've done, I believed was just living, and I believed it was just sharing. So a lot of times when people want to even monetize my help or my assistance, it's like, how? I'm just being your friend. I'm just telling you what I knew, so I think a lot of it has been this almost like the community has put me in this space, and a lot of folks that have supported what I've done have put me in this space. So for a while, I could not say leader. I could not say that. And I think today is probably the first time so it was so hard for me to shake my head. But just hearing about how folks have done things, or, yeah, last year when you told me this, and then I did that and it worked. And it's like, I guess I was able to lead you to this path. And, so for me, it's like this space as a leader, I don't like the hierarchical thing that I've always associated being a leader with. Like, I'd much more prefer to be a companion or on the same, same plane as folks. So to me, I think we are all leaders, but I guess I would identify that I've spoken but stepped into a space to guide. I think it's more of that. Like, I don't like to say I'm leading you. I'd like to maybe show you the way, but also you're showing me. I don't know. So it's a jumble, and I hope this makes sense. But I definitely see where, the community needed someone to support the Black woman food movement, and I've stepped into that role. So I believe, yes, I think.
Yes.
I don't know, but yes.
I think it's important, though, to talk about this process, and also to talk about our definitions of leadership, which often are steeped in that kind of white supremacist patriarchal model of leadership, which clearly is not leading us in the right direction at this particular moment in our history, especially. But I'm wondering, how do you feel like your leadership has evolved during the time of COVID?
Ooh. So I believe I was a lot more standoffish, especially I think when it comes to being a nonprofit director. Occasionally you'll see a grant come across your desk and it's like, I could write to that, but maybe somebody else is a better fit for it. I shouldn't do it. And then there'll be opportunities where, and I'm just thinking in excess of hundreds of thousands of dollars, where little old me from Seattle, I would think, no, let me leave that to the bigger, huge conglomerates. But I think this has shown me where, wait a second, nobody's doing this for us. So hold on a minute. We got to do this for ourselves. So just seeing how, a lot of the different chefs have stepped up, a lot of different community organizations that, have our focus or have always lifted up the voices of the underserved communities, POC communities. It's almost like we have to do it for ourselves. And so much of, the government letting us down time after time, we knew it, but it's almost like now there's no other, what else are you going to do? So we have to do it for ourselves. So I believe that definitely, I feel like I'm losing train of thought. I just go into, but yes, for me, I think just finding that, the solution is going to have to come from our organizing, from our community, and we have to do it. So it's definitely been, I've been less standoffish. I've been more eager to say, you know what, fine, then I just have to share something. There was a moment where we usually get free compost, and it comes to our farm from the city because, of course, the city gets to take all of our free food waste, and then they get to sell it to retailers. So once a year, they give you compost back. So this year, during COVID, was supposed to be our compost drop. And the response that I got from the compost company was, we only can serve clients who are revenue generating clients. So of course that meant you guys aren't giving free compost to all the individuals or community programs that you used to serve, which to me, all I can hear is my people need compost, whether it's COVID, whether I have money, whether anything, we need compost. So of course my response was, okay, how much is it? Because we still need the compost. How much will it cost for me to be a revenue streaming, customer, and you bring me the compost? So different moments like that where I've just had to step into it. I could have taken the response, we'll just wait until the end of May and we'll give you some. No, we need it now, and we need to do our boxes now. So I think moments of COVID have also given me that strength, but to kind of stand up to institutions in ways that, you know, this is inequitable, and I'll tell you it isn't, and I'll move forward. But, you know, it's definitely given me a little bit of fire, I'd say, for sure. Yeah.
Well, last question. Is there anything that you'd like to share with our youth?
I love you. The answer is in y'all. I know a lot of my encouragement came from that voice inside me. You know, definitely I always tell young people, you can do whatever you want. And I know that is the most cliche. You can be whatever you want to be, but there are superheroes in all of us. And I think stepping into your realm, stepping into it is the biggest leap you'll ever have to make. But once you do it, it's smooth sailing. Like, I just wish I could pull out if there's any fear or if the hesitancy, or if you feel like our system has created this cloud over you that you can't shake. You can. See? But no, I don't know. I think definitely I support young people. If young people ever want to get involved, if I can ever support any young movements, please let me know what I can do to support. But y'all are my future, so I respect y'all 100%.
Thank you so much, Nyema.
Yes, thank you.